Welcome, everybody. This is Illiterate. My name is Evan.
My name
Happy
is
New
Taylor.
Year.
Hello.
It's so wonderful to be with you. We wanted to pop back in. This isn't a full episode. We don't have a book or a piece of media that we're diving into this week. This is a year-end recap or a year starter, if you will, that kind of in between. Just to start us off, it's the new year. We were ringing in the new year, and I was doing the Gaelic Old Lang Syne, as we all, and I realized I'm just kind of spouting it off like a zombie. And I'm like, but the words, what I'm reading of it is very leading, and I'm like, it's very wistful, and I'm thinking, I'm getting nostalgic for things. I'm like it's echoing through like hundreds of years, and I'm reconnecting with a piece of myself in the past, so I just in the middle of ringing in the new year, I go, where did this come from, and why are we all doing this, and why has nobody ever explained this to me before? So we started looking it up, and here we are. We're into the show. Taylor, what did you find?
It's an old poem. Everything is based on something. It's an old poem. The original, it's Scottish Gaelic, so it's Auld Lang Syne, which
literally, I'm like, is that a person? Is that for all, for all the old man who didn't make it this year? Like that's kind of where the connotations in my mind lead me, but I don't.
Literally translated old long since, but idiomatically the way that it would go is long, long ago, or like for Auld Lang Syne would be like for the sake of old times.
Right, and it's like, is it okay to let go of the old times?
The whole song is rhetorical.
Question.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never thought upon? It's like, or should we remember this stuff? So that's why the song is used as a remembrance. Yeah, is it okay to move on?
That nougat of letting go and holding on. How incredible! How beautiful!
Yeah,
it's upgrade. We're expanding our horizons. We're hopefully
how are we expanding?
We're trying to look at ways to expand the format of the show. So what we do now, we love looking at what's in the news, what's being adapted, but there's so much stuff that we love, that we know you guys love, that doesn't come up week to week. It doesn't come up year to year. It's been done, or, we want to figure out ways to expand this format where we can do some throwback, maybe some big series on big books, like
6-part Lord of the Rings or 7-part Harry Potter thing, where we go back and go more into the minutia of these classics that people know and love, or
really
just
getting into the genesis, how these things came to be, why there are different iterations of this, and how it changed through. And I love doing that in the moment, but I think it would be a disservice to never go back and look and see what has been done. I mean, there's so much incredible stuff that we just might not get an opportunity to talk about just because it's not necessarily relevant right this moment.
Yeah. So coming up in the new year, we're going to be playing around with that. You can always message us at illiteratepod on Instagram if that's something you're interested in.
Stick around to the end of the episode. We might have a giveaway.
Oh, we also have a giveaway messaging us, so listen up for that. But yeah, any piece of media that you wonder how it came to be, that's a classic, let us know. We're going to be playing around with that stuff.
We want to know what you guys are interested in as far as that's concerned.
We're also going to cover right now what we have gone over this past year, kind of a year in review, as awards season is coming up, whether we foresaw the future in terms of what was popular. What do you have in terms of the movie side of things? And then I'll talk about what is going on in the world of books.
I got a top 10 overall. Just if I'm the movie side of this, about half of my top 10s we covered on the show. Maybe I'll go from the back. Number 10, Judy. I loved it. Uncut Gems, you might be hearing about that right now. That's out right now. Adam Sandler maybe having some Oscar buzz. Not based on anything. Not something we covered on the show. Again, number 7, Leaving Neverland, a documentary. Not something we covered on the show. But number 6, Dr. Sleep, Stephen King, the sequel to The Shining. I adored it. I really enjoyed it. Number 5, Knives Out, Clue Whodunit. Number 4, this one's sad for me, Apollo 11. We did the long lost episode. You guys don't know about this. We did an episode and we lost it on Apollo 11. There's an amazing documentary about the mission that came out this year. We did a whole episode on it.
Our microphones didn't work, and so
it was a disaster. I'm so sorry you guys didn't get to hear that episode, but I urge you, honestly, this should be my number one. There's part of me that's just like, this is always number one. If I can recommend one piece of media to the human race, really, it's absolutely fabulous. If you have not seen Apollo 11, please go and see that before you see anything else. That it's incredible. Number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We did Chaos, a fantastic book about the CIA.
Charles Manson,
all that 70s. Kind of stuff. Number 2, Ford Ferrari. That's also probably my favorite episode this year. I just loved that episode. I was really into that subject matter, so it was just that I think that was illiterate at its best.
If you passed on it, if you saw it in the queue and you passed on it, go back and listen to it, because I knew nothing about cars or racing, and it's quite illuminating. It's more about the people behind how all of that went down.
That is my recommendation. If you slept on that, please go check that out. Number 1, in my heart of hearts, Jojo Rabbit. Check it out. It is so full of love and goodness, and just, it's beautiful.
And probably nominated for some things.
Golden Globes, you hear about them. We're all over the place. I've got a whole rundown here of everything that we called. Number 1, I'm proud of this one, and we got to lay a stake on this for illiterate. I don't think many people saw this coming. We did, and you heard it here first. Nominated for Best Score, Motherless Brooklyn, Daniel Pemberton, original score, nominated for original score. If you go back and listen to this episode, I cannot get over the score, and I'm telling you it's going to be nominated. I don't think that's anything any critic talked about.
Well, the movie itself wasn't seen.
Yeah, it was just kind of overlooked. Yeah. Again, I think that was another one that I think it was a piece of overlooked material that was really worth going and checking out, especially over the holidays. I really felt like that was a holiday movie. So you heard it here first. That score nominated for a Golden Globe. I wouldn't be surprised if that could carry over to an Oscar nomination, especially seeing how it goes. Also, in that same category, Joker was nominated. Who would have thought? Incredible. But taking it back, Best Motion Picture Drama, we got The Irishman and The Joker out of 5. Comedy, Jojo Rabbit and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So there's another 2. Drama, Best Actress, Judy, all over it. Drama Best Actor, Christian Bale, Ford Ferrari. Look at that. Incredible.
Also, just so everybody knows, we're not just saying this as like, oh, we like, a lot of our episodes are random things that nobody knew about or cared about. It's not like we're just like, oh, this is the top selling movie. Also, we're recording these ahead of time, so we don't know if the thing is going to be successful.
All of this is, we have no idea what's going to be nominated at the end of the year. These are just things that we covered throughout the year, and we happen to touch on a few things that end up getting recognized.
And
this is a toot in our horn episode, especially, and I think this is important because I know you don't check out every episode.
Yeah.
Pick and choosing, especially if you haven't seen this. You know, I know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would be the same way if I didn't have to watch.
We can see the listenership who listens to what episodes.
I know, we're like Santa. Animated, Frozen 2.
We covered it.
Original song. I don't know. They have it nominated, but there continues fallout over Cats. Beautiful Ghosts by Taylor Swift and Daniel Lloyd Webber was nominated for original song of the Golden Globes, but they have pulled Cats from every other for your consideration category, and they pulled it off of all of the screener websites, so none of the Academy members can go and view that film anymore. They're pulling it.
They just were like, for your consideration. Well, not for your consideration. Yeah. You don't even have to consider this. So
it's a little unclear as to exactly what's happening, exactly where that film sits, what version is in theaters, is it up for these awards? So it's a little unclear. This is a big one. Limited series. We got it. Catch-22 and Chernobyl. Huge.
Wow. And just so our listeners know, Chernobyl was our most popular episode.
Ooh.
People loved it. But Catch-22 was also good.
Catch-22 nominated for Best Limited Series, also Best Actor. The lead in it, Christopher Abbott, nominated as well. But Chernobyl kind of blazes this whole trail. Not only are they nominated for Limited Series, but they're almost their whole lead cast is nominated in their respective categories. Pretty incredible.
Also, as a massive statement here, these are just the ones that critics find popular, and some of them we found popular. There's tons of stuff that we didn't cover because we can only cover one thing a week, or there's tons of stuff that maybe you watched or read or saw that you're like, oh, this was a much better film for this time, for this thing to come out. Please let us know.
Absolutely.
And maybe we can cover it in a future episode, or if it randomly gets nominated for something or you think it should have been nominated.
Peter Butter Falcon's a big loss here. I feel like maybe there's still some hope there for some sort of other run. That's kind of one I was really hoping would see some light, at least a nomination, something, but didn't see that here. But that is one I think is overlooked, and that Peter Butter Falcon. I was asking some people what were their favorite episodes, and maybe the episodes that we wouldn't normally, because I go right to, Ford Ferrari, illiterate in top form.
Yeah.
I actually had somebody say that This Is Where You Belong, the moving one, where we did way early in the year before we had really firmed up the format.
Yeah.
This
was in the summer.
that. They had moved. Yeah, they had moved, and they said that really helped them. So it was like, yeah, I mean, it was worth doing. You know, it made me feel good about how the show has changed over the year. We feel really good about where it is and where it's going now. And it was a little bit of a different animal then, but it was nice to know that was real, that it's still worth it, and that listeners like that.
We've done some sort of self-help kind of more nonfiction based books earlier on in the series. So if you just picked up with us more recently, I also got a listener comment that said digital minimalism, which I think was episode 14. Yeah. And this one is also really good for the new year, especially as people are trying to form new habits.
Absolutely.
It's one that we covered because it was popular as a book. Obviously, there's no movie based on it or anything, but it was huge when it came out on the New York Times bestsellers about reducing the amount of screen time that you have, concrete action steps and plans, and what that does psychologically in terms of what social media could be used for, what it should be used for, different experiments you can do.
It's a perfect time to start that kind of thing. First of the year, everybody's going to be doing their resolutions, figuring it out. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to make a big deal, you know? Check out these. I think both of those episodes are really good for the beginning of the year, both the digital minimalism and the
This is where you belong.
I think starting a new year with that kind of stuff just is a nice grounding, a little bit of a reset, just a little recheck on just like where you are, where your values are, what's important. Happy New Year.
I've got some book stuff. Are you good on that? Yeah. A couple big things that I saw. Bird Box, which we did so long ago.
Yes,
huge
that was
on
one of the
Netflix,
first.
like
That was one
ago.
of the flagship episodes.
Josh Mallerman was the guy who wrote it. He was the head of a band.
Yeah,
and he was writing
he
things
wrote
on
this
the
on
road.
the tour bus.
He saw the movie and was like, "Oh, well, of course I have to do something else." So there is a book called Mallory, which is the sequel to Bird Box, which he is writing and is going to be out this year in 2020.
Oh, wow.
But it was only because he saw the movie and he liked it. And it's interesting because most people,
cool.
If you saw the movie, you'd
it's
be
like
like,
the Lucas stuff. And sorry, I hate to interrupt, but
fine.
it reminds me of the Lucas stuff in Star Wars being reinvigorated by the 1990s novels and then getting back in the game. I'm gonna go back and do those. I love that.
That's Mallory will be coming out in 2020. Another thing that we talked about a long time ago that's good for the new year, we did Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin, which is literally about habit formation.
Yes.
So if you're talking about New Year's resolutions.
I knew I was forgetting. I was like, we did more of those. There's more of them that we could include with that resolution stuff.
But if you're trying to work on the resolutions, check that episode out. This was wild to me. This was another one of our huge episodes, The Phantom Prince, which is about Ted Bundy, the show on Netflix, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. We sort of have an update to that episode because I went back and looked on Amazon at that book. When we recorded it, the cheapest one was like $1,000. So what they've actually done now is
no way,
put it back into publication. And the reason is because there is going to be a show this month in January of 2020 made by Amazon called Falling for a Killer. And here's the thing. After years of silence, Ted Bundy's long-term girlfriend, Elizabeth Kendall, her daughter Molly, and other survivors come forward in a docuseries. So they're making a show based on the book that we covered. But Elizabeth Kendall, who has been silent with her daughter, is coming out and is going to be documented in the show.
Oh my gosh.
And so the book is now $10.
Wow. That is a beautiful example of being a man. I can't believe we were all, like, we were talking about that exact thing. We did the episode because we got a copy of the book and you can't get a copy of the book.
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible.
And she's going to say more in that.
I didn't know anything about this.
Updated the book. Yeah. Another book thing that's changed. So our episode for The Handmaid's Tale came out June 7th. And Margaret Atwood wrote a sequel to it called The Testaments in September. This won the Man Booker Prize, which is wild because the sequel, like the original Handmaid's Tale book, came out in 1985.
Right.
So she's writing this, but I looked it up and she wrote it in conjunction because the show is super popular on Hulu that's come out. So she wrote it in coordination with the television series, letting the producers know where she was taking the sequel, affirming certain character storylines with them so that it doesn't affect how things appear in her new book, The Testaments, since the show is years away from what the sequel is going to be. And so the producer of the series, Bruce Miller, said, the novel storyline will be taken into account as the series continues, which is wild to me that she was
This
like,
is nuts.
she's directly merging.
Yeah, she's
which
just
is like what we're
merging
talking
right in
about,
and making it the real thing, which is that again,
Yeah.
it comes being reinvigorated. Art inspiring art, re-inspiring art. That's beautiful.
The Boys.
Oh yes. Oh my God. I gotta admit, I still haven't finished it. I can't get through it. It makes me so anxious. I love it to death.
This is the salacious comic book, even darker and grittier than Watchmen, if you were not aware that we did an episode on, became a television series on Amazon and was critically and commercially acclaimed.
This was a last-minute episode. We didn't know I think we were playing something else that week, and we weren't feeling good about it, or maybe we didn't even have anything, we weren't sure, and you suggested it out of nowhere. And I had remember passing it on Amazon, going, ooh, The Boys, definitely not into that. And I love that was my reaction, because it's so perfect once you get into it. And I say I haven't finished it because it makes me, I love it so much. It's so successful in the emotions that it's trying to convey, what it evokes. I just don't want to feel it, but I do. It is so well done.
But another season is coming about,
renewed. Thank the Lord. But yeah. And also, I'm so conflicted. I'm happy and I'm just scared. I'm very scared. I don't want to watch anymore. But but Emily tells me it's incredible. She finished it, and she tells me all the time, like, I don't know how I finished it. You did great.
Yeah.
So I've got to get on it. The Boys.
The last thing I had was the most comments that we got from people like writing in on Instagram and whatnot about an episode was the Toni Morrison episode that we did.
I love that.
And I think
episode.
if you're going to listen to one, that's us in good form.
Oh, yes.
In talking about something that we know nothing about and trying to learn
That
more.
was so... It's hard. I felt like I was laying down at the altar, you know? It was so nice to... I feel that motherly aura even right now in the room, just thinking about the episode. I go, oh yes, I want to listen to the episode now. Lull me to sleep.
Learn again. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lovely episode. I remember specifically when I went to go see that, I saw that down in Santa Monica at a little art house theater, because it didn't have a wide release. I had to travel across town to go and see it. And I ended up striking a conversation with the concession workers there about the show. Because I walked in with like a notepad and everything. I happen to have stickers on me, so I just they took note of my notepad and was like, "What are you guys, like, taking a test?" So I was like, "Well, I'm doing a show." And so when I pitched them the show, they actually both, which are they were in their 20s, so they perked up and immediately kind of, because everybody wants to know, but they don't want to actually spend the time to do it, which is kind of exactly what the show is about.
Yeah.
So anytime you go, well, I know about this and I can tell you really quickly, people our age go, oh yeah, and they start lining up with their notepads and their pens.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy. I have a notepad and pen in public. Anyway,
yeah,
it was a beautiful little time. The Toni Morrison episode.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to it. It's beautiful.
In conclusion, with that, obviously, like we said, we're trying to make things that save you a little bit of time, teach you something you don't know about. We learned so much from this. And thank you for sticking with us. If you have listened to a few episodes, or if this is your first one, what are you doing? Go listen to the
don't start with this. Please go back and listen to Toni Morrison or Judy or any of these.
Any of them.
As a creative, it's just an invaluable exercise for me. I love that you guys get to come along with this journey with me, me and Taylor all the time. I love hearing creatives who are passionate, or just incredible stories, and how they actually get from the happening to our ears.
And maybe it fails, and maybe it
fails.
And...
maybe it takes a few times. Maybe the thing you thought you wanted, actually the thing you never wanted, ended up being the successful thing that you rode your whole life on. It's hearing how these creatives have found something, a vehicle that not only is provided or not for them, but the people around them, and you and me, the people who love the material, the people that it's actually meant something to emotionally. It's all a binding force. It's such a communal thing for me.
There's so much more to it than just the movie or the book.
Right.
As we teased a giveaway, in appreciation for sticking with us, just give us a message saying, hey, I want a sticker, or I want some stickers. We have made these really cool illiterate stickers to show your support, and we will give them to you for free if you message us at illiteratepod on Instagram.
Unfortunately, you have to give us your address.
Right.
But it is the only way we can deliver.
Or you can come find us in Los Angeles. But yeah,
that's true.
Just send us a message at illiteratepod with suggestions or whatever you'd like, and be sure to leave us a note that you want a sticker, and we'll coordinate getting them your way.
It's been a lovely year, guys. Thanks so much for being with us.
On to the next.
All
right. See you all next week.